Hello everybody, Donnie here with Family Tales. I hope everybody is doing great today. It's a beautiful day where I'm at, but anyway, if you do like these Reddit stories based on relationships, family drama, bridezilla, etc., please consider hitting that like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Update, am I the a-hole for hanging up on my girlfriend after discovering her mom was spying during our personal conversations? Original post, I 18 male had been dating my girlfriend 17 female for about 7 months. Tonight, her and I had a deep conversation about some relationship hiccups, and I shared my personal family struggles I typically only discuss with my therapist. As we finally got to a place we felt comfortable leaving things, I heard whispering in the background. When I asked my girlfriend about it, she adamantly denied anyone else being there. However, as I continued asking, she started crying. Just then, her mom pretended to come into the room and scold her for being up to try to cover up the fact that she's been sitting there for an hour. Turns out her mom has been sneakily listening in on almost every serious conversation or argument that we've ever had. I felt absolutely betrayed and hung up immediately. Since then, both my girlfriend and her mom have been apologizing and trying to shift blame onto me. This violation of privacy has left me feeling super violated and unsure about how to handle the situation. I do feel bad for hanging up so abruptly, but I just didn't know how to process what was going on. Am I the a-hole for hanging up on my girlfriend after discovering her mom was spying during our personal conversations? Any guidance on navigating this situation would be greatly appreciated. Edit, I woke up an hour ago and watched all the comments come in while eating a whole-ass margarita pizza. Thank you all for your advice and opinions. To provide more context, throughout our relationship, my girlfriend has often joked about how her mom can get any information from her. However, I've witnessed firsthand how true this is lately. I've also noticed that my girlfriend doesn't respect privacy, claiming she needs a confidant because my situations are too much for her mentally. But then her mom knows everything I share in confidence. I also have tried not talking to her, but she pushes every time. Because of this, I've become extremely cautious about sharing personal details. They're both very religious, and while I share the same beliefs, it's been a contentious issue in our relationship. Her mom has used religion to justify intruding on my personal life, citing the need to guide me if I'm sinning. My own family life has been challenging. I had to move out at 18 to escape. I talked to my own mother about all of this, and her response was to say that it was not the worst thing, and I was overreacting, which is why I felt like posting. Her mom, as expressed, that she sees me as part of her family, which has led to her trying to control various aspects of my life, like dictating when I can drink coffee or imposing a bedtime. She's also shared my private struggles with her pastor and best friend, who've tried to intervene and fix me. I deeply care for my partner, but I can't envision a future where her mother's involvement is so intense in our lives. I plan to talk to her about this tonight and will update you all afterward. Well, I totally agree with that. You need to set some boundaries, that's for sure. Now for some comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole, you have every right to feel betrayed. If I found out that my significant other had a parent eavesdropping during our personal sensitive conversations, I'd be devastated. Sounds like your girlfriend might be under her mom's control and not be allowed to live her own life. I sympathize with her, but you shouldn't expect to pay the price for that sick dynamic. And you didn't sign up for secret non-consensual polyamory with her and her mom. I am with you there. There really is no coming back from this level of violation. Can you imagine if OP and the girlfriend have sex? Girlfriend's mom is going to want to be part of it because heaven forbid her daughter actually gets any kind of privacy. What I find worse is that the girlfriend failed to inform OP what her mom was doing, and then when caught, lied about it. And it will be forever. There won't be an aspect of their relationship that their mom doesn't know. And if the daughter tries to set boundaries and limit information, the mom is too used to having that knowledge, and she will make their life hell trying to get her access back. For me, the mom has shown me that I don't want her in my life at all. Yeah, this is bad. I would like to know why the girlfriend went along with it. I have a feeling that the mother and daughter have a super dysfunctional relationship. I don't think you should tell people to break up. I don't know them well enough to say that, but in this case, I would say that OP should seriously consider ending the relationship, not the a-hole. Now for the update. She just called me at work. She started the conversation by saying that she thinks we should probably break up because she can't do it anymore. I'll be honest, I snorted. She asked why, and I responded by asking her if it was because she was scared to talk to me face to face, or if it was because she just didn't want to deal with the fact that she screwed up and hurt me. She said it was because I say everything is her fault. For context, I know I have a lot of problems because of a really hard home life and upbringing, and I acknowledge when I make mistakes. Last night was mostly me having to apologize and explain myself over and over, but this time I flat out told her this was 1000% her and her mom's fault. I then had to go because I'm at work and people needed help. I then got the text saying things like, I guess this is all my fault, and I deserve to sit in my consequences apparently. She wants me to come to her house after work to sort things out. I think I'm going to see if we can meet alone in a public place to ensure privacy. I'll update after that. Story 2. Update. My ex-boyfriend found out the truth behind my cheating, and he's extremely upset now. Original post. I realize it's impossible to describe what happened in the title. Just going to clarify that it is nothing like it sounds, and that the post is long. Okay, when I, 34 female, was 14, I finally got my life back on track after a rough childhood. I lost my dad, was bullied in school, and blah, 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 and simply had some rough years. But I had a change of schools. I met my group of friends and someone who, a couple of months later, became my first boyfriend. Tomas, 34 male now. I was really happy. I felt like I had found my place finally. I was doing good in school, had a job, and at least 2 weekends a month, my group of friends and I would just leave town to go to the city on the coast or the capital city, just 2 or 3 hours away on car. I'm from Argentina, and we would go to see our favorite national rock bands. We loved it. We were big fans. It was the coolest thing to do back then in my country. Doing pogo, pushing people to get to the front fence, screaming the lyrics, etc. It doesn't seem important, but it is. Basically, when I was 16, my friend group and I head to the capital to see one of our favorite bands, Callejeros, at a place called Cromanon. I'm not going to explain what happened, just going to say that the biggest tragedy of rock happened that night. Lots of victims and lots of people that ended up hurt. I ended up hurt. I still have a big scar on my thigh. 2 of my closest friends passed away that night. It was a big, big mess. I can never explain what I felt. I remember I started to go out every weekend and I would get drunk up my ass. I avoided talking about it at all. I would leave the room when someone even spoke about it. I kept pretending that everything was fine, that I was fine. In case you're wondering, getting alcohol in Latin America being a minor is not hard, much less in a small town. Plus, I'm from a town where for some reason we also go out on Thursdays, and in Latin America, we usually leave clubs and parties around 6 a.m. On Fridays, I would show up to school drunk, but that was common, so no one realized it. Tomas was there supporting me through everything, working hard to get a smile out of me every day, trying to get me to open up, but not pushing me too much either, hugging me when I needed to, and well, our relationship grew stronger, despite me going into a darker hole. When we graduated, we moved to the same city to keep studying, and I decided that it was time for me to cut the BS. I got a part-time job and worked hard to get the best grades, got new friends, stopped partying so much. I thought I was fine, or at least I wanted to convince myself that I was, but with time I realized that I wasn't. We were like 20, and I remember I started to drink again. I hated myself. I felt miserable. I had nightmares from that night, and I felt even worse because I thought I was being ungrateful. I survived at least. In my mind, feeling like this was pathetic. Mental health, well, we didn't speak much about it then. It was a taboo to go to therapy. During this time, I started to treat Tomas bad. I was mistreating. No, I never hit him or anything like that, but I would often yell at him or call him names when he was just trying to help. I kept pushing him away. I realized he deserved better than me. Tomas was always an angel, and of course he did. It did not make sense to why he was still supporting me. When he found me passed out after drinking so much, drinking on the floor, he would take me to the bathroom, bathe me, dress me, and put me in bed, cook me, clean my apartment. It only made me feel worse. I had a great man and I was treating him like shit. He simply deserved better than me. I tried to tell him that we needed to break up, but he refused. Tomas refused and told me he would stick next to me no matter what. But I only got worse, and I felt like I was going to drag him with me, and I couldn't stand the idea of seeing him with me, so after thinking it over, I made a choice. I did the only thing that I knew he wouldn't forgive. Well, I told him I did it. I told him I cheated on him with a guy from my work, a friend he was jealous of. He was upset, confused, angry, sad, and felt betrayed, of course. It was heartbreaking to see him like that, but I knew it was necessary. He was much better without me. I was just dead weight back then. Anyway, he left. I simply did not see him again afterwards. I didn't call him either, didn't search for him even though I wanted to. After I graduated, I got a full-time job and I got tired of feeling miserable. My mom got in contact with the survivors. I'm going to clarify, many survivors had killed themselves or tried to. Most of us ended up with serious mental health issues, as you can see, and they ended up convincing me to start therapy. I stopped drinking for good, and well, it was really hard. Finally stopped avoiding reality and facing my problems, accepting that I needed help. All the process of opening up was hard, but it was worth it. Countless are the nights that I just stared at the phone wondering if I should call Tomas or not. I wanted to call him, tell him I had lied, apologize for everything, and thank him for everything he did for me. I have to say, Tomas did call to check up a few times, but I always decided not to pick up. I heard a lot of voicemails of him while he was drunk, asking how I could do that to him. But he would still say that he loved me, and he asked me how I was. I forced myself to never answer. With time, his calls stopped. I got better and started to go back to my old self slowly. I started dating again, started to have more fun, and eventually got married and had a daughter. Life did get better for me, but all that goes up, goes down, and my husband ended up cheating on me. Karma's a bitch, I know. I divorced him and I was able to buy my own house and got primary custody of our daughter. My daughter has been the light of my eyes, and even with everything that happened lately for her, I would never let myself fall into that depression again. I was and am still happier than ever. Anyway, I got in contact again with Tomas like 5 months ago. He found me on Instagram and just sent me a DM and we started to chat, to catch up about life. He also had a kid 5 years of age, but he's not with his mother. It was a product of a one-night thing, and they have a good co-parenting relationship. He has him 2 weeks out of the month. The thing is, we started to meet up again, just as friends at first, but then we started to hook up. We would go on dates, but we never talked about the cheating. But finally, I confessed that my feelings for him were back. Tomas told me he was feeling the same, but he wasn't sure about starting anything again with someone who had cheated. That's when I chose to finally open up about what happened in the past, about how I was feeling and how I didn't want to drag him with me, so that's why I chose to lie about cheating on him. Tomas was shocked. He got upset, and I remember how he left. He called me later and told me that I shouldn't have lied to him about something like cheating, that I should have just told him that I didn't want to be with him anymore. I explained my side again and told him I'd rather to have him think real bad of me, to be real sad for a while, but eventually move on than to drag him with me to my dark hole. He just told me that he was an adult, that could make his own choices, and that he just wanted to be there for me. I told him I didn't regret what I did, but I apologized for hurting him and hung up, and we haven't talked ever since. He called me yesterday, but I didn't pick up. I wasn't ready to talk with him again. I have been processing all this information, and despite not being the best way, all these years I believed I had did him a favor, that even though it hurt him, it was best for him. Also, I was not even close to being good enough to be in a relationship. I honestly don't know. I do know it wasn't the best way. I knew he would have been able to convince me that he wanted to stay with me despite everything. And now for the comments before reading the update. Your intention was good, but you made a mistake in how you handled it. Not only lying, but pushing away. You are a survivor. You have fought out of a very dark place, but with him by your side, you would have had an easier fight. Now you two are here again. You can both disagree with if you should or should not have pushed him away, but you can get back together. You've been in a very dark place. Time to enjoy your life again with Tomas. Call him, be with him, and be honest with him from now on. He is still there for you. You are the a-hole. I don't believe for a second that this was done for Thomas's benefit. It appears that you did this because you didn't have the conviction to say, listen, I'm really not in the best headspace right now to be in a relationship. Adding to that, after you told him you lied about it, you shut him out again because you didn't want to have a difficult conversation. Please leave the man alone. Now for the update. Unfortunately, my post fell on the side full of red pill insults and annoying bots that didn't even read or could comprehend it, and I realized just by reading the first sentence, I don't really care. Didn't even bother to read those comments, to be honest. But I couldn't get much useful advice, which was what I was looking for, but I got a few and I appreciate them, honestly. Anyway, I'm going to start by clarifying that everything I wrote about the Cromagnon tragedy, I only wrote it for context. It was over 19 years ago. I only wrote it to explain the place where I was, how my mind was working, and how I was feeling. I would never ever come to ask advice about something like that on Reddit. Come on, be serious for the love of God. I'm saying this for all the people that acted like psychiatrists and psychologists and even tried to make a diagnosis out of a Reddit post. Seriously, even if it was with good intentions, it's dangerous and really irresponsible to do so. I don't have PTSD. I searched for professional help after graduating from the university. I graduated 13 years ago. I saw psychiatrists and psychologists, and I never got diagnosed with PTSD. I had depression and anxiety. I could never explain the amount of pain I felt after the tragedy, and how it only got worse because I didn't search for help in the right way. It took a lot of years, but years of therapy and support from friends and family finally made me get back to my old self. Not fully like I wanted, but to a point. I didn't even recognize myself. I'm saying that for the ones who told me that I was toxic, and I guess I was on point. But the others were never the problem. I was so self-destructive back then that I thought the best way would be to push everyone again. But like I said, that was a long time ago, and I'm not even close to being like that right now. I repeat, I wouldn't be so irresponsible to get into another relationship, get married, and have a child. When Tomas and I first started dating, it was like the first years of our relationship. Healthy, fun, and full of love. Not like the last year of our relationship. That was definitely the worst year of my life. I've talked about it in therapy for years and years, and I put it behind me years ago. Now is just something that marked me, but that is my past. It left me lots of problems, but well, it is what it is. I survived and should be thankful for it. Anyway, now to the point. Tomas and I met up on Saturday and things went well. We had a long talk. We talked for hours about everything. He opened up about how hurt he felt, how awful the months after our breakup was, and how he felt that I was making the choice for him. I told him that I was not only doing it for him, but also for me. I couldn't be in a relationship back then. How could I? Traumatized for whatever reason I was. Back then, I was so self-destructive and not nice to be around. I also told him how he might have wanted to stay, but I didn't want him to. I reminded him that I tried to break up with him many times and he simply wouldn't listen to my reasons and apologized for it. But he also explained how he loved me more than anything and couldn't leave in that situation. And how even after he thought that I had cheated, he was scared about me trying to kill myself. Every time there was news about one of the survivors of Cromagnon that had killed themselves, he would freak out thinking it was me. I told him that I loved him so much back then and now, but at least for me, it was not healthy to maintain a relationship. It was toxic, and it wouldn't have helped any of us at all. We apologized to each other, and I clarified that I want to leave all this behind and to just be us, to finally put this in the past. He agreed, we cried, but it was tears of happiness. I hadn't been so happy in a while. I guess deep down, it was what I always wanted ever since we broke up. To be okay again and to be like we used to be. I guess that I never stopped loving him and he never stopped loving me. I always wondered where he was or if he was okay. Wonder what would have happened if things would have been different. But now I don't have to wonder anymore because we're together now and that's all that matters. But one step at a time. That's all for today. Please check us out in the next video. Thank you.